In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your front wheel bearing and hub on your Mini Cooper. It's located behind your front wheel. Using a 17mm socket, we're going to remove our wheel. Let's remove our wheel. We're going to remove our speed sensor first using a T30 Torx bit. Loosen up that bolt and remove it and the hold down, and also the speed sensor. It should pull out. And now you can put that off to the side, away from where we're working. We're going to unpeen our axle nut using a punch and a hammer. And just make sure that nut can spin off without getting stuck. We're going to use a 32mm socket to remove the axle nut. Set that aside. Make sure your axle's free. I'm going to use a punch and a hammer. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to remove our brakes, our caliper, by taking out these two bolts with a 16mm socket. I'm going to take out the bottom one first. I have a caliper hanger ready to go on my spring. If you don't have one of those, you can use a bungee cord, and that will hold the caliper up and out of the way. Make sure you have a good hand on your caliper. And we're going to remove the whole thing. And hang it up. Make sure you're not kinking anything. Now we're going to come to the front and remove the rotor. Using a T50 Torx, we're going to remove this screw that's holding our rotor on. Just hold on to that rotor and remove the screw and rotor. I've sprayed down the area with some penetrating oil. We're going to be taking out these 4 bolts. This one here, 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 and up top. So 4 total. We're going to start with this one on the bottom, and I have the wheel turned out to get to it. I'm using a 13mm 1/4" socket, and I'm going to use an adapter to get it to a 3/8. I'm going to remove these bolts. This is the second one. You can also turn the wheel the other way if you can't get to it. Remove the bolt. Now we're going to do this top one. Same way. Remove that bolt. And we're on our last bolt. Typically these wheel bearings and hubs are stuck, but you still want to have a hand on it just in case. Once on a blue moon, you do get one that just falls right out. So this is the last bolt. Looks like ours is stuck in there, so there's no wiggles. Remove the bolt. And now we're going to go to the front and use a mallet and get that hub free. So now we're going to use a dead blow hammer. You're going to hold on to your hub and you're just going to give it a tap. all around. Looks like it's separating. And there we go. At this point, you are going to push your axle through and take it out. Now we're going to clean the area up. Using anything that takes metal away, just using something soft. You can also use emery cloth or a wire brush. I'm also going to clean in here with my emery cloth so that it seats well. Just move your axle around, get around it. The cleaner this is, the easier it will install, and it needs to be flush. Clean up the area. If you do have a dust shield there still, you're going to use a T20 to remove these screws and remove the dust shield if needed. Make sure you replace it before putting your bearing in. I'm going to put a little anti-seize in here just so it doesn't get stuck. You don't need a ton, just a little bit. Now we're going to install our bearing. I'm going to slide it in. I am going to line up the axle. Once you get that on the axle, you're going to slide it into place and make sure your bolt holes are lined up. Make sure that the wider bolt holes, so the bracket is wider on the top than it is on the bottom. So now we're going to thread these in. I'm going to go for the easiest one I can see. Make sure it's threaded in. And look on the other side. Let's make sure you see that bolt coming through. I'm just going to get them all started and then I'll snug them up. The process is the same for all four. I'm going to go for this one up top next. And also feel free to move the wheel back and forth. It makes it easier to get to the other bolts. Now I'm going to move on to the other two. Now we're going to torque all these to 15 foot-pounds and then go another quarter of a turn. So there's 15 and here's your quarter. Now I'm going to go turn my wheel the other way and get to the other ones. Put your sensor back in. And you can put your bolt in with the holder. You want to hand tighten that first. Make sure it's threaded in there right. I'm going to snug this up and torque it to 60 inch-pounds. And you should be good to go for that. And now we're going to put on our brake caliper. Make sure you put some anti-seize on your hub. And that'll keep the rust away and make it so you can get that rotor off in the future. Line up your rotor. Get your bolt ready, the one that holds it on, and that goes in this space here. It's got a tapered hole as opposed to the other ones. Get your Torx bit ready. And that will hold that in place for you. And you're just going to snug that up. Now we're going to put our caliper on. Slide it on top of the rotor. Line it up, and then you can get a bolt started. I'm going to get my top one going because it's easier to get to. And we'll get the bottom one started. And we're going to snug these up. And now we can torque those. Now we're going to torque these to 81 foot-pounds. Careful not to kink your hose or anything. Let's get our axle nut started. Gonna snug it up. We're gonna put some lug nut studs in, so we have something to hold the wheel from spinning as we try to torque. So I'm gonna put 2 in. So we're almost done tightening this up. I just wanted to show, use 2 lug nuts, lug nut studs, and then put a pry bar in between and brace it to the floor so that this doesn't spin when you try to tighten the axle nut and torque it. We're going to torque this to 130 foot-pounds. Now you can remove your pry bar. And now you can remove your lug nut studs. Put our wheel on. Make sure you line it up. Once you're lined up, you can get one of your lug nut studs started. You are going to have to keep a hand on it. And continue the way around. Let's tighten it up. We're going to do it in a crisscross manner. Walk the wheel up. Make sure it's flush. We're going to torque our wheels to 95 foot-pounds. I'm using a 17mm socket. We're going to do this in a crisscross pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.